Never wear Tommy Knit merch to school. Bad idea. Bad idea. So that's what I'm explaining right now. The story of how I almost died. Basically, we carry a lot of heavy things at the place that I work at, right? And one of those things that we carry are pallets, which are those very heavy wood-like things that carry merchandise. But they can weigh from like 50 to like 120 pounds. So there's a van where I work, and in the van is where we put all the scrap wood and mainly scrap pallets. So it's my job to move them in there, either by forklift or by carrying them. There wasn't really enough space for all the pallets that we had brought down from upstairs with a forklift, and we decided let's just fucking put them in by hand to the back bit. And then we get to the last one, the literal last pallet. And it was one of those like really heavy ones, and I wasn't the one lifting at that time, but I was still in the truck. But I thought I'd be okay. I thought I had enough space. That is, if everything went right. Yeah, so my buddy John was moving the last pallet, and he grabbed it, and he decided, I'm just gonna toss it over, because that's what we did with every single other one. But when he was tossing it, his hand slipped, and it landed right on my chest. 100 pounds of just wood, not just like a light toss, getting hurled directly into my chest. And you know, that's gotta hurt a little bit, considering that I weigh like 140 pounds. I don't blame him for anything because his hand just slipped, really. I felt fine when I walked out. Obviously, insane pain. But then I started to think a little bit. My dentist, not too long ago, passed away, and it was from a really crazy incident. R.I.P. your dentist, may he rest in teeth. That is so brutal. This is my dentist I had my whole life, and you're making jokes about him. He was riding his bike, and the handlebars essentially went straight into his ribs. He felt fine, though, just like I did. And then a few hours later, randomly, he just passed away from blood filling up his lungs because he broke his rib. So I also got hit in the ribs, and I was a little scared. I was a little scared because I didn't feel like too bad. So I started overthinking in my head. And I already been dehydrated at that point, and I hadn't eaten either. I hopped out of the van, and then a few seconds passed by of me, you know, thinking about my dentist and thinking about what could be happening inside my chest. My eyes, they were just becoming black. I started to not see anything. And then as soon as my vision was just entirely black, I woke up, but on the floor. I passed out, and my friend had luckily caught me, but apparently I hit my head. I don't know. Obviously, from the stress, I wasn't able to breathe. So I was thinking, holy shit, I really hope I'm not in the same situation as my dentist. And all of my managers, and I don't mean just like one or two, I mean every single one of my managers that was working at the store at the time was surrounding me. Which is odd, because, you know, you'd think maybe they should be running the store, but you know what? Thank you so much for helping me in my dire times of need. We had good first aid, so they made me go on the ground, lay on my side, and they called the ambulance. It took like 30-40 minutes, but they got there. And this is the first time I have ever been in an ambulance. So I was smiling a lot, even though I shouldn't be, because I could die, because my ribs could be broken and my blood could be in my lungs, you know. But I was smiling anyways, because I was like, wow, this is so cool. I'm in an ambulance. That's really demented of me. And then they had like one of them oxygen masks on me, which was really weird because it felt like I was like breathing, but 10 times more. And then we get to the hospital. They put me in the ER right away. They take my blood. They do a bunch of tests. They make me fucking strip naked and then put a gown on, obviously. Except there was just one guy in there who was like, let me give you privacy. Closes the door, fucking stays inside. So they took my blood. Which was honestly fine, because I was kind of prepared for that. But then what I wasn't prepared for was he did the little COVID nose swab thing, and he didn't walk in and he didn't talk to me for a bit, telling me what he was gonna do. He just walked up to me, he went, sorry Ash for what I'm about to do, and he just shoved it in my nose. There were two thoughts in my head. One, I can make really good content out of this. Two, I might fucking die, like, soon. So I might not be able to make that content. And then they did an ultrasound, which is like a bunch of jelly, and it felt really weird. And it turns out my cartilage is damaged, which is like, okay, that's pretty bad, but you can recover from that. Though I can't move my arms, like, in certain directions, because then it could ruin my shoulders. So I can't do physical activity for a bit. And then I'm like, shit, if the cartilage is damaged, Could my ribs also be damaged? So they go take an x-ray. And then they put me outside of the room. And they just leave me there. They told me, yeah, somebody's gonna take you back in a few minutes. And then they just leave me outside of the x-ray room for an hour and a half. And then finally, one of the people from the x-ray room walks out and he goes, "You're still here?" I get to like the monitored care area. And then I wait there for even more hours to get the results from my ribs. Turns out they're all good. My ribs are fine. So I didn't die. But if that pallet got thrown at me a little bit harder, I definitely could have. Definitely could have. But yeah, I was in the hospital for like 8 hours. And then eventually, I think it was like 2 hours before I left, my mom came. And finally, I could just go on my phone. And I took that glorious, glorious selfie. And I'm so glad I'm okay. And it kind of made me realize that I need to start getting shit done. Because I've kind of just taken life a little bit too easily, I think. I feel like I've been taking advantage of life. If you could take anything out of this, I think it's... If you have anything in your head that you think, I really want to do this, there's nothing stopping you. Go do it. Because, yeah, it's a little grim, but you could get into an accident. Anytime. And it could kill you. But if you live in that fear and you live, you know, thinking like that, then, you know, you're not really gonna live. That was weak.